Why are relationships oftentimes very hard for the empath? There are a couple of reasons, and I'm going to break them down, and of course, I'm going to save the best for last. The first one is frequency. Empaths, we vibrate at a different frequency simply based on where our intentions are coming from, our life experiences, and fundamentally due to the fact that we are exceptionally sensitive to not only ourselves, but to the environment, and we adapt for the most part. And that level of frequency puts you in a minority. The empath are a very small percentage of the population. Some statistics claim that only 5% of the population are empaths. So through your life experiences, through your awareness, your sensitivity, you vibrate, you resonate at a different frequency that doesn't align with 95% of the people on the planet, which means it's going to be hard for you to find a partner that you are truly compatible with. There will always be a vibrational disconnect that you are trying to bridge. It can be done. So number one is frequency. Also, what that can do is, through your frequency of authenticity and honesty and sincerity and a lot of the romantic virtues, this can be intimidating for most people. This doesn't mean that you intimidate. It means that people are intimidated by you. They can feel vulnerable and exposed because of the high moral code that you live by. They can, self-inflicted by the way, they can feel lesser than, they can feel judged because they know you are basically holding up a mirror unintentionally, but through your example, you hold up a mirror and they can see their flaws. They can see where they are not quite as authentic as you are. And maybe they want to be those things. And that for them is a feeling of, they feel like they lack something. And you continually remind them of where they're lacking. And that's really hard. No matter how kind and how good and how generous you are continually showing people this is how you maybe could or should be living with, again, integrity, authenticity, sincerity, kindness, understanding, compassion, empathy. So that's number one, your vibrational frequency, there is a disconnect. Number two is, and it does tie into frequency, you have a high level of emotional intelligence. This doesn't mean that every empath has a high level of emotional intelligence. The short version of emotional intelligence is an acute awareness to yourself, how you show up in the world, how you vibrate, how you communicate, and also the external awareness of how others do that too. You are in tune, in alignment with all the nuances of human behavior on an innate subconscious level. You understand. And not everybody has this innate understanding of the human condition. And so there you are with this clairvoyant perspective of life. Doesn't mean that your perspective is better or worse or right. It's just different. And I want to really hit home. It's not about being better than. It's simply about the empath is different, views life differently, experiences life differently. And that difference, whether it's above, below, next to, upside down, that difference can create a level of disconnect with other human beings. So in terms of emotional intelligence, another factor of emotional intelligence is through our awareness, is we identify and recognize patterns of behavior very quickly. And through our awareness, we oftentimes see more than the person see themselves, and we see their patterns. We identify their character, their flaws, their qualities. We identify it very quickly. And sometimes, this is going to sound a little bit pretentious, sometimes to the point where we can read them better than they can read themselves. We see them for who they truly are, including their own blind spots. And that's really hard for the empath, because we see, and it can create boundaries because I can see who you are, and this doesn't align with my core values. I see it straight away, and I can't unsee it. And so we protect ourselves, we alienate ourselves. We sometimes go to the point of simply avoiding relationships because it hurts. It hurts to be different. Pattern recognition. And tying into pattern recognition is the energy, going back to vibrations now a little bit, but it's the energy of intention. We sense intention, even if it's on a subconscious level, which means when somebody is intentionally trying to be harmful, trying to poke, trying to provoke, being negative, being defensive, they don't think they are, but the energy, we receive it, we understand it, we can identify it. So now, here's where the real disconnect happens. Through the empath intelligence or emotional intelligence or awareness, the empath will oftentimes understand patterns of behavior and anticipate the needs of their partner. They're a step ahead. And that can be due to their awareness, but it can also be due to a level of hypervigilance and people pleasing. In terms of the hypervigilance, that can be exhausting because the empath is always constantly scanning and aware of everything that's going on, absorbing a lot of information, a lot of needs that they want to address, they want to fix. It can be exhausting, but you are anticipating your partner's needs. And now here's where the big disconnect happens. Deep down inside, you give not to receive, but it would be nice if you were understood in the same way. And your needs are potentially not being met. And so in your head, whether this is true or not, or whether it's in your head, is up to you to decide. But in your head, it's possible that you now feel an imbalance of giving and understanding and nurture and care because you are doing everything to meet your partner's needs. They don't even realize what you're doing because they are oblivious. But you are investing in their well-being. And it feels like they're not reciprocating because they are not paying attention to the micro-communication, to the subtleties, the nuances, the things that you aren't actually saying. And then so now you're in a position where there's a level of potential resentment that is building. You feel exhausted from giving. And now you decide, I need to communicate my needs. I need to communicate where they're not meeting my expectations. I need to communicate the things that are irritating me, that are annoying me, so we can meet in the middle. However, for the average person who lacks this level of awareness, again, potential hypervigilance or people pleasing, but not everybody has that. And so you are now in a position where you're going to start communicating these things. And for the average person, critique feels like an attack on their character when all you're trying to do is make them aware of things. And no matter how well you communicate, it's going to be a challenge. And this third one also leads into the resolution of this disconnect, and it's communication. The empath has an innate ability to read all the subtleties and nuances of all forms of communication. We hear what was not said. We see your character through your actions and all the nuances, through the things that you did, through the things that you didn't do. We analyze on a subconscious level, on a microscopic level. Why didn't they do this? And we piece all these pieces together, and it happens instantly almost. Now, here comes the challenge for the empath to try and bridge that gap through your awareness. Your intention is going to be, maybe you want to help this person become better. Better. Shame on us for judging and thinking we can make people better. It's a tendency, a flaw of the empath. We want to help, we want to fix. And so we start communicating the things that we see, the things that can be improved upon, the things that can be fixed. And we start sharing these things with the intention of, I'm helping you. No matter how gentle, how kind you are with your intentions, the challenge is this. Most people do not like critique, empath included. Now, removing the responsibility of the empath for a moment, When it comes to the narcissist, no matter what you communicate, a critique, a pain point that you bring up, making them aware to a situation is going to feel like an attack on their character. It's not only the narcissist, excuse me, it's not only the narcissist who can get highly defensive. If you are in a relationship with somebody who is emotionally immature and you bring up a pain point, it can be anything, something that doesn't align with your core values, and you want to address this situation with open communication, with kind, honest communication. No matter how you present it, they will get defensive, they will deflect. And then a video that I did previously, you will hear a series of what about, and they will deflect and point out the what about you did. And this shuts down communication, making it hard to have a relationship with somebody because you're trying to bring up a pain point to bring us closer together, and they are unwilling to receive it with the love with which it's given, and they get defensive, and this creates conflict. And so communication is really, really hard for the empath. We have to either decide to keep it to ourselves and embrace that which doesn't align with our core values, which is not healthy for the empath. Or you have to be incredibly soft, gentle, and patient in the way you communicate, waiting for that person to feel safe and secure enough in your relationship for you to bring up these pain points, even if your intentions are good. The empath sometimes simply has to tone down what they want to say, what they want to share, keep to themselves that which they are aware of, and just play the game of incredible patience, which is not easy. If you want to learn more about communication, take my online course. It's called The Conscious Communicator, and it breaks down the 6 principles of communication and will help you leverage your gift of empathy with communication to others. It will also help you become an empowered empath, because it also includes the ability to honor yourself, to set boundaries. Also, you can read my book, Pink is the Color of Empathy, if you want to do a deeper dive into becoming an empowered empath, a conscious empath, or just general life empowerment strategies. Reach out, let's connect. I am a life coach. I'm a certified trauma coach. I can help you along your journey. Thank you for watching.